downtown Miami. 2 days left of this Major League Baseball season. Inside Marlins Park, the Fish and the Mets are getting ready to go. This is game 2 of a 3-game set, but this is much bigger than that. Adam Greenberg tonight will get his first at bat, he hopes, in the big leagues. Hi everyone, Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. The Marlins beat the Mets last night. This is game 2. There's a lot of stories to talk about, but Adam Greenberg's story is certainly the biggest. It was 7 years ago. You and I were calling a game at Dolphin Stadium. The Cubs were in town. Greenberg had just been called up. He came to the plate to pinch hit in the 9th inning, and Valerio de los Santos hit him with the very first pitch. Little did we know at that time he would not get back to the big leagues until tonight.
It's an amazing story. You and I have seen a lot of players come up and get their first AB at the major league level. Who would have thought in a young player's life, Adam Greenberg, a 9th-round pick of the Cubs back in 2002, was hitting over 285 as a minor leaguer. He deserved and he earned his call-up to the big leagues. He played more after that 2005 incident, almost 1,000 hits in the minor leagues. Second time around, he's going to get the opportunity tonight. It's an exciting night here at Marlins Park.
As again, not sure how he's going to use him yet, probably as a pinch hitter late in the ball game. And if it's late in the ball game, odds are he'll be facing R.A. Dickey because the Mets starter gets deep in games. And there's another storyline tonight. Dickey gunning for a Cy Young Award, and he's looking for win number 21 tonight.
A lot of great storylines in this ball game tonight. R.A. Dickey in his 5 starts against the Marlins.
He's going to get his one at bat. When, we're not sure. And oh, by the way, it's an email and Twitter Tuesday tonight as well. We'll have more on the one at bat when we return.
They're doing great with him. They really welcomed him in and having a good time with him around the cage, especially John Buck, kind of the ringleader out there, ribbing him a little bit, but having a great time, and he's very appreciative.
And gave him a chance to hit a home run on his last swing.
They said, hey, get in there for a few extra swings. He had a home run on his last round that he took. That ended the BP for him, and I think he's very satisfied.
Frank Ford has more on Adam Greenberg.
Oh, my goodness.
When you were hit, you were lying on the ground, you were bleeding, you were obviously hurt. Were you thinking, am I going to survive this?
That was all I was thinking. My eyes rolled in the back of my head, and I was just telling myself stay alive multiple times over. And that was, like I say, it was just the scariest point in my life.
Did you ever doubt that it would happen, or did you think, this is the longest of long shots for anybody at this point to give me a chance?
I believed in my drive to want to get back to the big leagues, so I never lost sight of that. Did I think it was getting farther and farther away? Of course. Playing independent ball for 3 years and, not really getting many opportunities, and I had shoulder surgery, and it was just a lot of things were going on, so the dream was becoming farther away, but I still held on to that.
Matt Liston, a longtime Cubs fan, started this one at bat campaign. When he came to you and said, I want to do this, what was your reaction to him?
My initial was, you're out of your mind.
So you started up the oneatbat.com. You asked people to sign the online petition.
The amount of support, the letters, the emails, the tweets, everything has been beyond anything we ever thought. Beyond anything we ever thought. And I think it's because people can identify with the story. We knew we needed fearless ownership because, quite frankly, it's easier to say no than it is to say yes.
A lot of people will be rooting for a hit. Can he get one?
Absolutely, you can get one. He's a baseball player. Why not?
He gets a chance here tonight. It will be exciting sometime, probably middle of the game. We'll have to see how it unfolds. But he may have to face this guy, and the Marlins haven't figured him out at all. R.A. Dickey goes for his 6th victory of the season against the Fish. Next.
All right, the Mets come in at 73 and 87. The Marlins winners last night by a score of 3-2. Ruben Tejada at short. Daniel Murphy at second. David Wright is at third base. Ike Davis hits cleanup. Scott Hairston in right. Lucas Duda gets a start in left. Josh Tolley always handles the knuckleballer. R.A. Dickey with Andres Torres hitting 8th and Dickey hitting 9th.
I'll tell you what, Rich, kind of lost in all this is the start for Jacob Turner, and a meaningful one for him, his last one of the season. Didn't get a lot of support or help behind him in his start against the Mets in New York.
Pinchapenny's first pitch is in, and the Marlins didn't play good defense behind him his last start in Atlanta either. You see that September 21st loss to the Mets. Just 3 of the 6 runs were earned. And a breaking ball that misses out. Rob Drake is the home plate umpire. Andy Fletcher, Joe West, Mike Malinsky, the umpires here tonight. 2-0
to young Ruben Tejada, who has had a nice year for the Mets in his 113th game. And a strike to Tejada. He's a youngin'. He's just 22. Panamanian.
Jacob Turner making his 7th start as a Marlin.
To right, and Stanton is there.
You know, to give you an indication of the struggles the club's had behind him, he's 1-4, but he has a nice 3.86 ERA.
Well, here's the defense behind him that will try to play a little bit better tonight.
Hope they play a little better. Brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida, with Peterson, Hernandez, and Stanton in the outfield. Velasquez and Reyes. Velasquez has been solid at third. Solano and Carlos Lee. And we talked about that young battery, Rob Brantley behind the plate.
Daniel Murphy. And Murphy takes a strike. Murphy last night, a couple of hits. The Mets jumped to a 2-0 lead. The Marlins chipped back and tied it, and then won it on a Rob Brantley double in the 8th. An email Twitter Tuesday, ready to throw out the first email. Breaking ball misses outside. This is from Bob in Miami. I know I'm not going to be the only one to ask this, but since it's basically a meaningless game for both teams, why not let Greenberg play a couple of innings? Fastball outside corner is a strike.
You know what? I think if it was up to all of us, we would probably like to see that.
If it was up to us, he'd be starting.
Yeah, but it's a decision made by the organization and by Ozzie. They got together, and you know he's going to pinch hit. He's going to get the at bat, and you know it's their decision. I mean, yeah, we'd all like to see him play 9 innings and get 4 ABs.
But the gesture that the Marlins made in reaching out to Greenberg, the campaign that was waged was 1 at bat. And that's all Greenberg was asking for, and that's what he's going to get. Now, Ozzie Guillen has said, part of it joking, but knowing Ozzie, he just might do it. Ozzie said, you know, if the kid gets a hit, I may leave him in there. Greenberg has said, all I want to do is try to get on base. And he said, I don't care if I get a hit, if I walk. I don't even care if I get hit by a pitch. I just want to get on base. Here's the 3-2. A swing and a miss, because that's what Greenberg has done best in his professional career. A scrappy guy. He's always had a real high on-base percentage, good speed, good stolen base totals.
It's one of the reasons he was called up in 2005 by the Cubs.
So, Bob, a good question, and we're looking forward to that 1 at bat. And who knows if it's against R.A. Dickey or if it's against somebody out of the Mets bullpen.
And so far, a nice start by Jacob Turner. 2 up, 2 down.
David Wright. Last night, a couple of hits, drove in a run. What has been a disappointing season for the Mets. They're undermanned, and they've lost, 3/5 of their starting rotation to injury. Wright has been a very bright spot. His average over 300. He's going to finish over 300. 41 doubles. He's driven in 92 runs. Turner's breaking ball is up. And it's 2-1.
I think we've seen the velocity of Jacob Turner. We've seen it hang right in there and get a little higher his last few outings. A little more consistent with 93, some 94s with the fastball.
And, of course, Turner working with Rob Brantley, that pair coming from the Detroit Tigers. Congratulations to Dave Dombrowski, Jim Leland, Omar Infante, and Anibal Sanchez as they're headed to the postseason. The Tigers clinching the American League Central.
And they can all thank Miguel Cabrera and Prince Fielder for a lot of that.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. But the Marlins are thrilled with what they've seen so far in both of these kids, both Brantley and Turner. A 21-year-old pitching to a 23-year-old. On the ground, Velasquez to his left. And Turner has a nice and tidy 1-2-3. First, Marlins get their first swings at R.A. Dickey. Stanton homered again last night. He's got 37. Carlos Lee still looking for double-digit in homers. He's stuck on 9. Rob Brantley, the game-winning double last night. Donovan Solano, Gil Velasquez, and Jacob Turner. And, of course, standing in their way is 37-year-old R.A. Dickey, who is having one of the great seasons in Mets history and has a real shot at the National League Cy Young Award. 20-6, a 2.69 ERA. See the strikeouts, 222. That leads the National League. Peterson turns and lines it foul. Now, Tommy, the Marlins have seen R.A. Dickey plenty this year. Can they take anything from the 5 losses and apply it to tonight?
You know, you try, but again, if he has that good hard knuckleball working for him tonight in the strike zone, he's tough. His 10 wins in his career, he's 10-2 against the Marlins. We've talked about 5-0 this year. His 10 wins against the Marlins, more against the Marlins than any team, any other team.
And his story is one of perseverance. And he strikes out Peterson with a knuckler that came in on his hands. So Dickey, his 223rd strikeout of the season.
Well, the last time he pitched, he struck out 13 against the Pittsburgh Pirates. We've scouted him a number of times. Brought to you by Coventry Healthcare. He's 39-28 as a Met. They have a team option on him. I have a feeling they'll pick that up. And there's never been a knuckleballer win the Cy Young Award.
Hernandez takes a strike. Gorkys Hernandez. 3 hits last night. Also walked. And that knuckler fell right off the tabletop. And it's low. It's 1-1. Dickey, a number 1 draft pick. Gorkys lines it to right. Hits it pretty well. And Hairston is back there. And he makes the catch. Here's the defense behind Dickey tonight.
Well, the Mets have their A-team out there with Dickey on the mound. Defense brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Duda, Torres, and Hairston. Wright, Tejada, Murphy, and Davis around the infield. And as he's done all year, Josh Thole, he has his work cut out for him every night that he catches R.A. Dickey.
And he has his special knuckleball catcher's glove that Dickey gave all the catchers in spring training.
We always see which side of the plate Jose Reyes will bat from when he faces Dickey.
Reyes to left. Duda is there. And he makes the catch. R.A. Dickey. A 9-pitch inning. Check in with Allison Williams.
Hey, Rich, I'm sure by now everybody knows the story of Adam Greenberg, hit by a pitch 7 years ago in his only major league at-bat, but tonight will get a chance to step into the batter's box again thanks to a campaign called One at Bat. And what people may not realize is this campaign was really led by social media. What Matt Linston did, the documentarian who got this movement started, he asked people to tweet, post on Facebook, write emails to Major League Baseball teams encouraging them to give Greenberg a shot at the big leagues one more time so he could record an official at-bat. And of course it is Email Twitter Tuesday, so we thought we would take a look at Greenberg's tweet he sent out earlier today. You can follow him at Greenberg5. This is what he said. He said, "The day has finally come. 7 years in the making. Time to step back on a major league field to play. What a feeling." Such an exciting night here for Greenberg, and we of course want to hear what you guys think about the one at bat chance for Greenberg. So send us your tweets at FS Marlins and use that hashtag one at bat and let us know what you think about the Marlins doing this for a guy that certainly earned the right to play in the bigs, and pretty exciting to see him back here. 53 people in attendance, I should say, for Greenberg's family, friends, all here to support him. A lot of people rooting for him on this day, guys.
All right, thank you, Allison. One of the toughest things, Tommy, for Greenberg is figuring out what to do with himself right now. I mean, with all the emotions and the adrenaline that's going through that young man's body right now, he simply has to wait like a pinch hitter. Now, you were a big league pinch hitter and a very good one, but this is, I'm sure you never went through anything like this.
Nah, it's a whole different ball game right here. This is one of the few times we've seen him kind of standing still in the dugout. He's been going over to the sunflower seeds. He's been pacing. And Jacob Turner gets another out.
Yeah, Ike Davis bouncing back to the mound. Scott Hairston coming up. Chevron ticket Wednesday. You've got one Wednesday left, and that would be tomorrow. 4 o'clock start. If you fill up with 8 gallons or more of Chevron with Techron gasoline, you get a voucher for a 50% discount off of tickets in select sections for tomorrow's game. Stop in at participating Chevron stations today for full details. Now Hairston, who was 0 for 3 last night, and Turner misses outside.
I know one thing that you and I have enjoyed in watching Jacob Turner, we like the pace at which he works. He's generally in the strike zone pretty well.
Hairston lines it into center field. Hernandez picks it up, and the first base hit of the night goes to Scott Hairston. Here comes Lucas Duda. Carl has this tweet. I can't believe this is the last Twitter Tuesday. I'll miss you guys. We'll miss you, Carl, from Cape Coral.
Got a good one from Kevin. We'll get in after this pitch. Wants to know how many home runs. I'll let you throw out your answer first. Do you think Giancarlo Stanton can hit if he played a full healthy season?
Upper 40s, low 50s.
Yeah, I would say 50 would be the over-under.
Now, not many people play 162 games in a season, but if Stanton did with the rate that he's hitting home runs this year, he'd be right at 50.
Certainly doable.
Well, the other night we were talking just 140 games. 140 to 145 games.
And you're right about that. A lot of times you see projections and they have 162 games, and there are only a handful of guys that play 162 games. So you have to usually figure 140, 145.
Throw to first. Don in Cutler Bay. I hope you answer this during the first couple of innings because I have to leave. My question is, when a bat is shattered, who picks up all the pieces? I also want to thank you and Tommy for entertaining us all year round. My 88-year-old mother watches every game on TV, and she has rants that could rival Tommy's.
Pretty much a bat patrol. The ball boys, the bat boys, usually a scramble out and try to find as many pieces as they can.
2-2, a swing and a miss. Turner gets a strikeout. El Caballo is trying to push Hairston off the base. Hairston won't budge. And Turner gets the second out.
Rich, Brett wants to know, as you watch this quick snap throw from Brantley, if Cishek will pitch with the Marlins next year. Absolutely. Absolutely. He'll be a big part of the bullpen next year.
Here's Josh Tolley. And he fouls one back. We have an email from Trudy, who wanted to know if we got the cookies the other day she sent. And Allison, you're included in this. Remember, Trudy emailed us, I think we were in New York, and she asked you to go up and interview her son, and her son had left.
Yes.
And she felt so bad that she sent cookies.
I am so excited that she actually sent them. Way to go, Trudy. Yeah, I walked all the way up to the 400 level at Citi Field, and they had left. But I'm excited that I'm still going to get cookies. You guys didn't eat them all, did you?
Our producer, John Sulzer, got one of the containers, and the rest were
that one's gone.
Consumed by the crack staff and announcers up here.
That's not fair. I'm the one that did all the legwork.
Breaking ball in the dirt. Well, we're sorry, Allison. You were away on a college football assignment in some faraway town. And those cookies, you know, they don't keep.
I'm going to lobby Trudy to send me another one.
She did. You know what? Trudy said next year, a fresh batch with opening day. There you go. Hairston's at first. Turner's 1-2. Runner on the move. And a little roller Reyes' way. Fires to first in time. Turner, an uneventful second inning. Bottom of the second on an email and Twitter Tuesday, a scoreless ball game. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Papa John's. For $10, get Papa John's Buffalo Chicken Pizza. Or for $2 more, get any large pizza. In Miami tonight, R.A. Dickey is looking for win number 21. And he worked a perfect first. Giancarlo Stanton digs in. Stanton 4 for 17 against Dickey. That was a nasty knuckler that almost got by Josh Tolley. And it's 1-0.
That was nasty, too. You know, he's given up 22 home runs. If he throws one that doesn't do a whole lot, I've seen guys hit long home runs against knuckleball pitchers. But Stanton's not homered against R.A. Dickey. He's 4 for 17, but no home runs.
It seems to me, and we've seen him pitch a lot this year. It seems like it's really dancing tonight.
Look at that. And some of that could be because
Stanton, a scorching ground ball that gets into left field off the glove of David Wright. And the Marlins have their first hit against Dickey.
I think knuckleball pitchers will tell you A lot of times they like pitching inside in an enclosed ballpark.
Well, he certainly likes pitching against Miami. 5-0, a 1.38 ERA, just 6 earned runs in the 5 wins against the Marlins this year. And here is Lee. Of the Marlin hitters, Lee has the longest history and the most hits against Dickey's, 9 for 33. And the count's 0-1. So 1 homer in the 33 at bats. Lee needs 1 homer to get to 10 on the season. And if he can do it tonight or tomorrow, it will be his 14th consecutive year with 10 or more homers and 25 or more doubles. And he pops that one up. Tolley comes out. Davis comes in, and he makes the catch. I really liked what R.A. Dickey said about Adam Greenberg. Dickey is a guy that has had to persevere through an awful lot. The autobiography that he wrote this year was incredibly revealing. Dickey was a first-round draft pick who, when Rangers doctors saw that he didn't have an ulnar collateral ligament in his right elbow, cut his bonus down to about $75,000 from close to $1 million. The pitch to Brantley is outside, and he had to persevere, climb his way into the Rangers organization, and then in 2005, Buck Showalter and Orel Hershiser convinced Dickey to go back to the minor leagues and throw the knuckleball. He did, and here he is back in the big leagues. And here's what he said about Greenberg. He said, I've had to persevere through a lot just like him, so I respect what he's done. And if he comes to the plate and I'm pitching, I will treat him like the big leaguer that he is. Tolley is having a whale of a time.
Could be a night that if the game stays close, even though Dickey has that quick move to first, you might want to take advantage and just send some runners, because it's going to be tough for Tolley to make a grab and then try to throw a runner out.
Brantley a chopper. Davis fires, gets it out there. The relay to first is in time. And the double play ends the inning. Brantley confused on that. R.A. Dickey in control. Dickey locked up right now in a scoreless game. In the top of the third, Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Marlins President David Sampson will be joining us in the 4th inning to take your emails and tweets. If you have any for David, send them along. We'll gather them together and unload on the 4th inning. All right, the copyrighted telecast you're watching is presented by the authority. The Miami Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Turner back to work. Andres Torres, R.A. Dickey, Ruben Tejada. And Turner bounces the first pitch up. And it's 1-0. Into our email bag quickly. A question about the Triple Crown. It comes from Jesus in Gainesville, where they love the crack staff. And his question is, if Miguel Cabrera finishes the season tied in one of the 3 Triple Crown categories, will he or should he get the Triple Crown?
And the answer is yes. I believe the year Carl Yastrzemski won the Triple Crown, 67. He was tied in the home run category, I think, with Harmon Killebrew. The same number of home runs.
1-2. And Turner misses up. Torres a 1-for-3 night last night. Just 2 games left in this 2012 season. Lee gets around it and steps on the bag. Turner has the first out of the 3rd inning. Now there's a lot of R.A. Dickey and Cy Young tweets and questions. Mike in Palm City notes that ESPN has that Cy Young predictor calculator that uses wins, strikeouts, ERA, and other stats. Right now they've got R.A. Dickey as the current pick, and right behind him is Gio Gonzalez. Tommy, what do you think of the predictor?
I'm for that. I have R.A. Dickey only because he leads in so many categories. You look at what he's done this year. He's first in the league in innings, first in strikeouts, first in complete games, first in shutouts, second in wins, second in ERA.
JD in Jacksonville has this point as well. Do you think Dickey's 20 or 21 wins on a sub-500 team helps or hurts him in the Cy Young?
You know, in a way, I think it helps him. He's the first 20-game winner on a sub-500 team since Roger Clemens won 21 games in '97 for the Blue Jays. Why I think it helps is because he's doing his job every 5 days or 4 days sometimes in his case. He's picking up a win. And it's harder to do.
That's a lot of work to do. And you played with a guy who was, I think, the ultimate Cy Young Award winner on a really bad team.
Best ever, 1972. Steve Carlton won the Cy Young. He won 27 games, and the Philadelphia Phillies won 59 games that year.
Ruben Tejada takes a breaking ball in. Not to say that if Gio Gonzalez wins the award, he doesn't deserve it. I think Gio Gonzalez would be a very deserving winner of the Cy Young Award. I think it would be cool to see him driving around Hialeah in his car with the Cy Young Award strapped in the passenger seat.
That's kind of what Ozzie said. Now we'll be watching Gio Gonzalez pitch in postseason.
Yeah, congratulations.
And that's what it's all about.
Congratulations to the Nationals. What a night last night. A lot of celebrating last night.
The Tigers you mentioned earlier.
How about the Athletics last night?
Wow, they're making that interesting.
They're a game back with 2 to play. They can still win the West.
Now, they clinched a spot in postseason.
Yes, they did. But they would like to advance right to the division series instead of having to play the wild card game. Liner to center, and Hernandez is there, and he makes the catch. Jacob Turner working quickly. So is R.A. Dickey.
hit by a pitch in his only major league at bat and take the field because, as you know, with Adam Greenberg, he wasn't able to recover after being hit by a pitch. Fred, good to see you, 75 years young. Your moment happened in 1955. What are your thoughts on tonight?
It's just wonderful. I'm so happy for Adam that first of all, that he's healthy.
Yeah.
And that he can get a shot again, and I'm sure his dream is coming true right now.
You did it as a Philadelphia Philly. You were only 18 years old. For you, it was a dream come true at a young age.
It was a dream come true, and I never dreamt there would only be one at bat. Yes. But that's how life is. And I had a great experience. I was a prospect at the time, and the world was in front of me, and it just didn't work out.
How neat is this to, at least at this point in your life, to kind of get your name in the paper a little bit, come down, to get honored, get to throw the ball out, and kind of tell people who Fred Van Dusen, the baseball player, was. Very successful businessman throughout New York, and you now make your home in Tennessee.
Yeah. It's a little different. I had my 15 minutes of fame, and I'm getting another do-over.
Yeah. It's a second chance.
But it's really sweet. I'm older. I can appreciate it more. I'm looking from a different perspective. I'm just savoring the moment. I'm down here with my wife. We're sharing it, and we're really enjoying it.
Had a chance to go on nightly news. I know we talked to Gary Sanders. You see this great ballpark and how baseball has changed. What did you always love about the game, Fred?
One thing about the game is when you walk into a major league ballpark or any ballpark, when you smell the grass, the green, just getting out there on the field, it's just something that it's hard to say you don't like it.
Yeah.
No matter if you're a major leaguer or a minor leaguer or just a kid playing Little League.
Yeah. And how was your throw tonight? You threw out the first pitch.
I have to work on that. I was trying to throw my fastball and it came in as a changeup.
You should have thrown a knuckler. That would have been apropos tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time, Fred. Good visiting with you. I know you're going to enjoy Adam Greenberg's at bat. Do you give him a chance to get ahead against, if it is Dickey?
I do. I think he's not throwing 105, which I don't think Adam's used to. And I think he has a better chance of getting the bat on the ball. And, you know, once you get the bat on the ball, anything can happen.
Good to see you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Fred Van Dusen played for the Philadelphia Phillies in 1955. Rich?
That's really an interesting part of the story, that there was only one other player, and Fred wasn't as injured, obviously, as Greenberg was by the ball that he was hit with. Wow, that knuckler by Dickey just shot way out.
And for Fred Van Dusen, he would play 650 more games in the minor leagues after that incident in 1955. He hit 260, had 86 home runs in the minor leagues.
Gil Velasquez pulls that one foul.
One of the first, I think, fastballs that Dickey's thrown tonight.
And that's the thing about Dickey. He was a conventional pitcher before he was a knuckleballer. Got to the big leagues with the Rangers, but he wasn't getting people out before Buck Showalter and Oral Hershiser sat him down and said, you know that knuckleball you've been fooling around with? That's going to be your ticket. And there's another fastball, 85 miles an hour. His fastball is about the same speed as Mark Burley's fastball. And he will throw a curveball. Velasquez waits and sends it out into center field. Torres makes the catch. Marlins have just a Giancarlo Stanton single right now in a scoreless ball game in the bottom of the third. And here is Jacob Turner.
Jacob Turner looking for that first big league base hit.
He got a fastball and he was on it.
He was ready for it.
Tejada throws to first. R.A. Dickey is just cruising. 32 pitches through 3 innings. WorldBaseballClassic.com. It's a terrific event, and Marlins Park will be a great setting for the World Baseball Classic second round. Cleveland Clinic fourth. The one at bat signs are starting to circulate around Marlins Park. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. The Washington Nationals clinching the Eastern title. Tico, the People's Gas. They did that with an Atlanta loss last night. And so the Nationals now even with Cincinnati for home field advantage.
Yeah, each with the same number of wins, each 96 and 64. Quite a scene at Nationals Park, though. The ball club circling the ballpark, high-fiving fans. Really nice to see.
Daniel Murphy against Jacob Turner with David Wright, Ike Davis to follow. And a letter-high strike from Turner. The count is 2-1. In games that are going on right now, Boston a 2-1 lead over the Yankees. Fly ball left field. Peterson is there. And the Orioles are scoreless against the Rays. Both those games in the third inning.
Well, you like the way Jacob Turner's mixing it up, and it's what he's done. You also like the AT&T trivia about this time, don't you, Rich?
Well, the phone flips, and then we ask the question. Who was the oldest first-time 20-game winner in Major League history? Wow.
I always like to throw out Warren Spahn. He pitched into his 40s successfully.
There's the buzzer.
Did Jamie Moyer win 20 when he was in his 40s?
He won 20 twice.
That was a quick buzzer.
Reyes fires across. Wasn't Mike Mussina on one of those lists we saw the other day?
What about Clemens? I think your guess is a pretty good one, but you didn't get a bell or a buzz.
Mike Mussina. Thank you.
Oh, there you go.
I got the bell.
Because that was on one of the lists. You're right.
I got the bell.
You're much more observant than I am. I see those lists, and the next day I forget them.
Dickey became the third oldest pitcher to get his first 20-win season of his Major League career. Ike Davis up now.
Mike Mussina, one of those borderline Hall of Fame guys. As the 300 win mark starts to come down a little bit with pitchers that won't be getting 300 wins, all of a sudden I think his name's going to come into play.
Here's the 0-2. Well, just like JD's question in Jacksonville, I think for guys like Mussina, even a Pedro Martinez, you have to take into consideration the era that they pitched in, whether it's steroids or small ballparks or small strike zones. Velasquez going back and reaching up and making a nice over-the-shoulder running catch. Well-pitched game from Jacob Turner and R.A. Dickey tonight. Adam Greenberg sitting next to the hitting coach, Eduardo Perez. Cleveland Clinic 4th scoreless game. The trivia answer, we're talking R.A. Dickey. We're talking guys getting to 20 wins. The oldest first-time 20-game winner in Major League history. Mike Mussina, 20-8 in 2008.
Took a quick peek. Mike Mussina with 270 career wins. The other thing about Mussina, he always pitched in the American League East, too.
Peterson takes a strike. Brian Peterson, Gorkys Hernandez, Jose Reyes. Giancarlo Stanton has a single, and that's all the Marlins have been able to get against R.A. Dickey. That's not a surprise. Dickey has beaten the Marlins the 5 times he has faced him this year. Peterson gets jammed on that one, and he is out number 1. And Dickey's ERA against the Marlins keeps getting lower and lower. Just 6 earned runs in the 5 wins plus the 3 innings in this one.
Rich, he's gone 6 or more innings, R.A. Dickey, in 30 of his 32 starts. So that gives you an idea how he's kept his ball club in games.
And so now Gorkys Hernandez comes up. And a knuckleball that bounces off the glove of Josh Thole. It's our final email and Twitter Tuesday. David Sampson, president of the Miami Marlins, is joining us now. The 0-1 from Dickey. David, this night has turned into something really special. I know Adam Greenberg hasn't had his at bat yet, but you can feel the electricity around the ballpark, all the anticipation leading up to tonight.
It's been quite a ride, hasn't it? And it's all been going on just for 10 days. You know, we saw the article, saw the YouTube video, spoke to Jeffrey, spoke to the commissioner, spoke to Adam, and now he's in uniform.
So that's how it all came about. I was going to ask you that, how this all started, the process.
It started because I read about this, and I was immediately intrigued, and my first thought was to...
Gorkys Hernandez, left field and deep, and gone! And the Marlins have a run against Dickey and a 1-0 lead.
It was just a very intriguing story. And so I called Jeffrey on the phone and said, listen, there's an opportunity here. In 2005, I remember very well, I don't know if you remember, Tommy, the sound of the ball hitting his helmet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we called the game.
Yeah.
It was a sound you don't soon forget. And I haven't thought about Adam at all in many years. Called Jeffrey. Jeffrey loved the idea. And then we said, well, we better speak to the commissioner. The commissioner thought it was a nice story. He had heard of the petition and then got in touch with Matt. And before you know it, I was on the phone with Adam the night that Israel got eliminated in the World Baseball Classic. Called him on the phone, told him he was going to get an at-bat. And he was quite emotional about it. And he's a really good guy, and he deserves this. And you know what? It's baseball, Tommy. It's Major League Baseball, and he has an opportunity to fulfill a dream. Why not do it?
I think it's a fantastic story for a guy to come full circle, get the opportunity, which he had, which was taken away from him a little bit because he'd been hit by a pitch, and he's going to get a chance tonight.
So I had a conversation with him before the game, and I said just one thing. Do not get a called third strike. Get up there and go down swinging if you're going to go down. And I said the key to R.A. Dickey is simple. Just hit the middle ball that you see. Because it moves so much, just aim in the middle.
Reyes sprays one wide of right around first. He'll hold there. So the Marlins get a home run from Gorkys Hernandez. Reyes with a one-out single, and all of a sudden the hits are starting to come against Dickey.
Well, we talked earlier, Rich, about R.A. Dickey having allowed 22 home runs, 23 with the one to Hernandez. We talked about Jose Reyes. Was he going to bat right-handed or was he going to bat left-handed off R.A. Dickey? Now, once he's on base, we talked about stealing and putting a little pressure on Josh Thole, the catcher.
Dickey to Stanton, and he misses in, and it's 1-0. All right, David, we've had a lot of emails and questions about Giancarlo Stanton, wanting to know, will he be a Marlin for a long time? Stanton has had a terrific year. He homered for the 37th time last night. He's still a young player in terms of contract status.
He's a young player in terms of all status, except for amount of home runs in a career. But, you know, he's a Marlin. He's got 4 years before he's a free agent. You never know when a long-term deal will be offered and what he'd say and how it would work. But we've never been afraid to go year to year with superstars. And the fact is, we love him on the team, but you always look to see what the team is made of, how it's constituted. And you know the line, Rich. He's very unlikely to be traded, but there's no such thing as an untouchable player. What if some team calls you and offers you 6, 5, 4 superstars?
Reyes has a stolen base. Murphy and Reyes all tangled up like a twister game out there, and Reyes emerges with stolen base number 39.
It's a good analogy, Rich. I like that one.
Remember that old game? Right foot blue,
left foot yellow.
Hey, you knew it wouldn't take long for Reyes to take off. Good pick by Murphy, but Jose gets his hand on the bag. That's a tough play for Daniel Murphy. A tag right in the face of Jose Reyes.
The thing that makes the Adam Greenberg story also so special to me is the kind of guy he is. And he never went around campaigning himself. This was brought to him, and he just recognizes that how lucky he is just to have had one opportunity and now getting another one tonight. Very humble, and also raising money for charity, which is very nice. So
yeah, that's the other
Tell
part
us a
of the
little
story.
bit about the charity. Yeah.
Well, there's a charity that is called the Sports Legacy Institute, and what they do is they're trying to solve the concussion crisis. And so it is a crisis. You've read about it a lot in the NFL, but it's an issue in baseball as well.
Is that the group at Boston University?
It is. And, you know, David Wright he got hit in the head, had a concussion. You see the Center for the Study of Traumatic Encephalopathy. Did we say that right, Tommy?
It sounded good to me.
Encephalopathy, I think it is, something to that effect. But yeah, they are the cutting edge in studying brain injuries, especially in the NFL. As Lee fouls it back to the screen.
Yeah, I was down in the team store, and I noticed they're selling T-shirts, and a part of the sales will go to the charity as well.
It's hard to imagine. It's these one at bat T-shirts,
yeah.
And everyone in the ballpark tonight has a sign that says one at bat. And in theory, when Adam is up, everyone will hold the sign up.
Oh, that would be cool.
But again, that's in theory. You never know what's going to happen. But I think here in the next couple of innings, you're going to see Adam Greenberg pinch hit.
Dickey takes a look. Reyes inching away from third. And a knuckler misses outside. Now Reyes is probably thinking, Tommy, I know he's in scoring position, but he's at 39 stolen bases. Everett Cabrera of the Padres is sitting at 43. Cabrera had a late run, and he's in line to win the stolen base title unless somebody swipes 4 or 5 bags in the next 2 games.
But Jose still is going to play the game right. So you don't make what's the old adage? You don't make the third out and
Not
third.
supposed to.
He's not going to steal here. Do you think he is, Tommy?
If he thinks he can get off good jump, I think he'll go. I'm just amazed at the energy he brings every night here with one more game of the season.
Out to center, Torres makes the catch. David stick around. Gorkys Hernandez with a home run, a 1-0 Marlins lead. We're back after this sports injury prevention message from Cleveland Clinic, Florida, 1-0 Miami. was hit by a pitch in his only major league at bat back in 1955. David Sampson, Marlins president, joins us, and here is the one at bat signs that David was talking about that have been passed out to the fans out here at Marlins Park. Pretty cool.
I think you're going to get to use these soon.
All right, you had a thought on the meeting of Adam and
Fred. His son called P.J. Loyello, left a message on the machine saying, "My dad lives in Tennessee and he played one game on September 11th, 1955, one at bat, got hit by a pitch, and he just wanted to say hello."
How incredible! The only two guys that's ever happened to.
So the next thing you know, we flew him down here to be a part of it throughout the first pitch, and it was so cool to meet him because he's a part of history. And here's a little nugget that he may not have admitted on the air. He's happy that we're giving Adam the chance because now he is the single record holder of the only person to be hit by a pitch in his only plate appearance and not have an at-bat.
So he could say that he is Moonlight Graham, isn't he? Scott Hairston lines it into left for a base hit. Now Hairston has had the best swings against Jacob Turner tonight. In this ball game, the Marlins have a run. Gorkys Hernandez with a homer. There's Fred.
He reminded me of Moonlight Graham when I met Fred. I wondered if he'd walk over the line, whether he'd turn into a doctor or a player. But the story of Moonlight Graham, the true story, is he played in the field for 2 innings.
He was in the field, yes.
Twice.
Didn't get an at-bat.
And the game ended with him in the on-deck circle.
Just don't let him walk into a cornfield anywhere.
Our grass isn't long enough. Don't worry.
David, while we have you here for this last half inning, there are some questions from fans. One was a ballpark question, wanting to know next year Marlins Park, improvements, changes after the first year. Is there anything in the works?
No. You know, for me, it's this ballpark plays how he did, and no ballpark can hold.
Not talking about fences.
Oh,
I mean, just talking about.
I'm so sensitive. I thought you meant fences.
No, we're talking about just the ballpark itself.
Yeah, grass.
Yes, we're actually going to plant new grass because this grass didn't grow in enough. And we talked to Giancarlo, for example, and someone who is going to be a part of our team for years to come, obviously, and he knows that no field can hold him. And so we talked about the fences in that way, and it really is important for pitchers to have a place where they're comfortable, and because pitching we think wins. But having someone like Giancarlo in your lineup, in the middle of your lineup, who has the confidence and knowledge that he can hit it out anywhere, it's just, Gorkys, for example, he just hit one out, so it's okay.
Here's a good one for you. We were going through some numbers tonight. The team that has the fewest home runs in the National League this year going to the playoffs, the San Francisco Giants.
And what do they have that's really good?
Pitching.
They certainly do.
What's been your for you a pleasant surprise, or the thing you're the most pleased with about the ballpark this year?
I'm most pleased, I think, with the quality of food maintained throughout the season from opening night. I think the Clevelander's been a huge success. I've loved the way people have continued to walk around the ballpark every day. This is game 80, and there's still people milling around all game long. I'm the least pleased with the quality of the grass, and that's something that we want to work on and make better. But the fans who are here, very supportive of you in a crowd like tonight. You're talking about a team we're in last place, lost 90 games, and people have fun when they come out here, and that was one of our objectives. The other one, obviously, was to be in the playoffs, so that's disappointing.
Rich made the observation the other night. He said it a few times. A lot of times about 6:45, 6:50, you don't see a lot of people in their seats because they're all milling around the concourse getting the different food. And then all of a sudden, once the game starts, they start to filter into their seats.
So there's several thousand people milling around at any particular time during the course of a game. And we've counted it. We'll constantly monitor lines at concession stands and make adjustments.
Runner goes, and a check swing, foul ball, third base side.
All right, you mentioned, obviously, a last place team. When you get together with the front office and staff members at the end of the season, where do you start? What do you go with first, or what do you think about? What do you talk about?
I think first you let a little time pass. You have to take a breath and try to analyze what happened and try not to make the same mistakes again. And that's what we're going to do. We want to win as much as our fans do, as much as all you do. All the people watching tonight and all the people here at the game, of course we want to win. And it just did not work out the way it should have this year. And everyone, including front office, and we're all accountable for it, including everyone on the field. But the fact is, we're not the only ones who thought we were good. And it just, for some reason, didn't happen for us. But, you know, starting Thursday, we're back to 0-0, and we're going to try again. I promise you that.
Turner with a count 1-2. Josh Tolley, a pesky hitter, and he takes up and in. The count's 2-2.
Rich, I know we get emails, we get tweets, but Johnny in the parking lot, got great people that work here and always treats us with a smile when we come in. He said, I can't email you during the game because I'm working. I said, well, give me a question. And I said, well, we're going to have David Sampson on. He wants to know what the plans are for Justin Ruggiano.
Peterson, a sliding catch in foul territory. Terrific play. There are 2 outs.
He's going to come to spring training and compete to make the team. And, you know, maybe this year there were no competitions, just a few maybe for some bench roles, but maybe we need more. Maybe that was one of the issues, that maybe people were too comfortable. Well, we don't know, Tommy. We just have to get everyone together, get our thoughts together, and move forward. Not the first team to lose this many games, but we'd like to be one of those teams that comes back strong next year.
Andres Torres now. Hairston still at first.
From a standpoint of the ballpark, you know, you don't call this season a failure at all. And if given a choice, I got an email on email every day, which is my email every day. Would you trade a World Series this year for everyone to hate Marlins Park? So you get to win the World Series, yet everyone hated Marlins Park.
I know what your answer would be.
It's a simple one, because Marlins Park's going to be here for decades. So no, I would not trade that.
Marlins are going to walk Torres and pitch to Dickey. Though Dickey, at times this year, while he's been beating the Marlins on the mound, has hurt them at the plate as well. A wild pitch is what moved Hairston to second. Time now for the Just for Men Keep Your Edge Spotlight, with R.A. Dickey coming to the plate. Against Miami last 2 seasons, he's 8-0. And certainly he's given the Mets an edge. You can keep your edge with Just for Men mustache and beard. And here is Dickey. He struck out back in the 3rd. Jacob Turner's thrown 75 pitches. Dickey has thrown just 52. And a breaking ball starts him with a strike.
Could this be an opportunity in the bottom of the 5th with Turner coming up 4th?
It could.
This is where I think it gets tough for Ozzie, because you have Jacob Turner pitching well. He has a lead. He's at 77 pitches. So it's one of those tough choices.
Oh, 2 pitch. And Dickey swings and misses. Brantley digs it out and throws him out. David, thank you.
Thank you, guys. It's been a terrific year.
Thanks,
and
David.
I promise you that we're going to do better next year.
Okay,
thank you, guys. Great first year.
All right. Marlins on top, 1-0.
you all think about Adam Greenberg making his return to the big leagues, finally getting his one at-bat, part of that big campaign. Here's what some of you said on Twitter. Annie, along with the picture, said, "I'm sitting behind the one at-bat crew. So cool to be here." She put a picture of her with Matt Linson, the guy who really started this movement for Greenberg. Lomo Dimples, how about a sentimental moment from one of our favorites on Twitter? Proud of A. Greenberg, proud of the Marlins. And one at-bat makes me prouder to be a fan than I have all year. And then also a few others throughout the night. Cecilia tweeted, "It's awesome that the Marlins gave Adam Greenberg a one at-bat chance. Gives people hope to never give up on their dreams." And I think that was really the message that Adam wanted to get across during the press conference today. He said, look, this is bigger than baseball. This transcends sports. It's all about opportunity.
Field, and it's gone! Rob Brantley, 2 solo shots for the Fish against R.A. Dickey.
That is all about a 2-0 lead. Brantley had been 0 for 4, just 4 at-bats against R.A. Dickey. A possible Cy Young winner, and the young left-handed hitting catcher took one into the Mets bullpen. Talked about the knuckleball when it doesn't move a lot. It's a pitch that you can drive a long way.
He launched it.
And that's 24 home runs now that Dickey's allowed.
Solano fouls it back. That's a good shot. Brantley, one of the players that Greenberg hung out with throughout the day. He does have a connection to other players in Marlin uniforms. Brantley getting the most out of that home run.
He's having a ball.
You got to like the enthusiasm of Brantley, the swing of Brantley. He's not been overmatched, both physically or mentally, in the big leagues. He now, with the 3 home runs, has driven in 8.
Well, the 2 home runs tonight hit by guys who each have 3 now on the season. Gorkys Hernandez and Rob Brantley.
Adam Greenberg watching that home run go. And with a bat in his hands right now, so it looks like he is staying loose just in case. Now Velasquez. Velasquez flied to center. Velasquez had a couple of hits against Dickey in New York. The Marlins, in Dickey's 5 starts, were 0-5 against him. And Dickey had only given up 6 earned runs. And the Marlins have 2 tonight. And that's a strike.
There have been some, and I say some, a few, who have questioned the validity of what the Marlins are doing tonight in the one-day contract. And I went back and you look at a little history. Minnie Minoso with the White Sox got to bat when he was 54 years old in 1980, so he could say he played in 5 decades.
Tim McCarver, I believe.
Tim McCarver came out of the broadcast booth his first year as a broadcaster. I believe it was 1980 with the Philadelphia Phillies, and got in a couple of games right at the end of the year. So he could be a player who played in 4 decades. This actually has more merit than those 2 appearances.
Here's the 3-2 to Velasquez. A swing and a miss. You saw Greenberg sitting next to Justin Ruggiano. It was about a month ago that I saw Ruggiano, and actually a tweet from Ruggiano about the one at bat campaign, because Ruggiano and Greenberg were teammates in Double-A in the Dodgers organization. And Ruggiano had heard about the campaign and helped publicize it and pass word along. So Ruggiano knows Greenberg. John Buck remembers Greenberg.
John Buck had a really nice story he was telling me around the batting cage about Adam Greenberg. They were together in spring training with the Kansas City Royals. John Buck told me that Greenberg was one of the last cuts, that he was a scrappy player. He did all the little things right. They thought he was going to make the ball club, and he was one of the last cuts in spring training with Kansas City when John Buck was there.
That was 2007 with Buck. Turner swings and misses, and Dickey finishes off the 5th. But Miami adds another run, another solo homer. This one, Rob Brantley. And a 2-0 lead for the Fish. Option to exchange unused tickets for merchandise, VIP experiences, and more. 1-877 Marlins. Cholula Hot Sauce Spotlight player is Jacob Turner, St. Charles, Missouri, same hometown as Mark Burley. Got a full ride to North Carolina. That's where Adam Greenberg was an all-ACC pick. But instead, he signed with the Tigers, who made him a first-round pick.
9th player chosen that year.
Turner now goes to work on Ruben Tejada. Top of the order for the Mets in the 6th. Daniel Murphy, David Wright will follow. A smash and a great stop by Velasquez. Leaping to his left, Gil Velasquez.
It seems like we say it every night. Velasquez has been just outstanding at third. He's had a couple of errors, and I think each of those errors have been tough ones. He's come up with some nice plays, good reactions there. Talked to him the other day. He's been fun to have around. He's had fun. He's enjoyed every moment that he's gotten this opportunity to play.
And he'll get another ground ball here. A 2-hopper off the bat of Daniel Murphy. So 2 outs. David Wright comes up here in the 6th. The Subway Subprize on the line. The National League wild card. The Dodgers are still hanging in there. Los Angeles 2 out with 2 left. The Dodgers need to win 2. They need the Cardinals to lose 2.
Yeah, a Cardinal win, even if the Dodgers win, no good.
Cardinals and Reds are just underway, scoreless in the 1st. There's a look at it. You see a Capuano-Zito matchup. Giants and Dodgers. Dodgers with late heroics to win last night and keep their hopes alive. David Wright takes in. A couple ground ball outs for Wright.
A couple other good games going on, too.
Terrific night for Jacob Turner tonight. Yeah, Baltimore's got a 1-0 lead over the Rays. That's in the 6th. And of course, Baltimore needs the Yankees to lose to get back into that tie. And Boston's doing their part with a 2-1 lead over the Yankees in the bottom of the 5th.
With Ellsbury and Pedroia in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, that's the news around that ball game. Actually, today it was reported that Pedroia would not play the next 2 ball games and his season would be over. But I just have this picture of Pedroia storming into Bobby Valentine's office with a lineup card, ripping it in 2 and saying, "I'm in there." And Pedroia an RBI double in that ball game. Ellsbury is leading off, and he has a hit as well. It looks like Adam Greenberg is loosening up. Ike Davis to left. Peterson over there. And he makes the catch. Is that one at bat coming?
It could be. Yeah, he's got the helmet.
2-0 Miami. He would see until now, and Greenberg is on deck and ready for his one at bat.
Leading off for the Marlins, pitch hitting for the left-hander Brian Peterson. Number 10, Adam Greenberg. Greenberg pitch hitting.
R.A. Dickey on the mound, Adam Greenberg in the box, and here we go. First pitch, strike one.
You knew he had to take a pitch. Words can't describe that last moment.
All the adrenaline, all the excitement that's got to be going through Adam Greenberg right now. Dickey, 0-1 pitch. And Greenberg takes a swing and a miss. And he's behind in the count, 0-2. Fred Van Dusen, the only other big league player ever to get hit by a pitch in his only major league at bat. 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and he strikes out. But you know what? He made it back. He got his one at bat, and the crowd comes to its feet again.
He had his hacks. And R.A. Dickey pitched him like a big leaguer.
Well, that's what R.A. Dickey said. When Dickey was asked how he would approach Greenberg, Dickey didn't miss a beat. He said, I will pitch him like the big league hitter that he is. He may be the only big leaguer in history with a smile that wide after striking out.
He got that dancing knuckleball that stayed up in the zone and just took off. But he had 2 good hacks on those last 2 knuckleballs.
Good for him. At 31, he would like to make a comeback. He did not play this year. He had shoulder surgery after playing in the independent leagues. He started a business, but he started to train midway through the season. Played with Israel on the World Baseball Classic team.
Rich, in a nice article, someone who was very instrumental in kind of his comeback and also his establishing himself just as a citizen and a businessman, Dusty Baker.
And Dusty Baker was his manager with the Cubs the night he was hit on July 9th. And Baker kept in contact and kept pushing him, kept, whenever the phone would ring, picking up the phone whenever he thought Greenberg needed a lift. Baker would reach out. And it was Dusty Baker that actually told Greenberg, look, you have a family now. You might want to start your business. And it's a computer business. Start your business and then think about coming back. So that's what he's done. He's started a business. And now he's trying to make that comeback.
Well, you mentioned his parents are here, his wife, other family members, many, many friends.
Ball and a strike to Jose Reyes. And it's fun to watch the Marlins players, the other big league players, embrace Greenberg, because there are some big league players, there are fans, there are executives that said no to Adam Greenberg, that said, you know what, I don't want any part of this. But the Marlin players, to their credit, accepted him into the clubhouse, hazed him a little bit. I think they made him sing a karaoke song.
Just a little rookie hazing, yeah.
And they had a great time with him during batting practice. They all fell apart when on his last batting practice swing, he hit one out of the park. And Reyes dumps this one into left center field for a base hit.
I tell you what, Jose Reyes came into this game 2 for 23 against R.A. Dickey. He has 2 hits tonight. Reyes 2 for 3.
See what the Marlins need to do right now, Tommy. They need to hit around. But with 2 outs, obviously, that's probably not going to happen. Dickey's been tough. The Marlins have been able to get him for 2 solo homers. Gorkys Hernandez and Rob Brantley. One of our emailers, John, just lobbed one our way. Reyes just got back in.
Yeah, I think you can understand why we kind of got away from the emails and tweets.
If Dickey wins the Cy Young, Brantley will most likely be the only player to have his only at bat against a Cy Young Award winner. Reyes has a huge lead, and he almost got picked off. Dickey thought he had him. He started towards the dugout.
You know, another name that we haven't brought up in that game 7 years ago when Adam Greenberg was hit, the pinch runner was Carlos Zambrano with the Cubs at that time, not pitching that night.
Reyes is running. Stanton lines it into left field. That's a base hit. So a couple of hits back to back. Carlos Lee is the hitter. I know throwing the knuckleball is not as strenuous as throwing 95-mile-an-hour fastballs, but Dickey's workload is different, I think, than the Tim Wakefields and the Phil Niekros, even the Charlie Huffs, because he throws a hard knuckleball. He has a little more stress on his body and on his arm.
I think if you just close your eyes and you picture Charlie Huff and Wakefield and Phil Niekro, if you remember how he used to throw, it was a much easier and it was a slower knuckleball. You're right. A little more stress. R.A. Dickey now over 235 innings this year.
Dickey misses in. Almost got Carlos Lee. Lee has popped out and has flied out.
But tonight, so far, R.A. Dickey's been outpitched by Jacob Turner.
And you could see the strategy that Ozzie Guillen used to get Greenberg in the ballgame rather than lift Turner, who's pitching well. He pinch hit for Brian Peterson. He can insert Scott Cousins into that spot and go from there.
I'll tell you the other thing that was probably on Ozzie's mind in trying to get Adam Greenberg in the game. If you wait till later, all of a sudden you might get a matchup and Terry Collins is going to go to a left-hander to pitch to Greenberg, and you don't want him to have that at bat against a lefty. And Ozzie, I thought, played it well. Pinch hitting for Peterson and can use Cousins in left field.
Chopper towards third, and it's foul. Two and two. Manny Acosta in the Mets pen. Lee into right field. That's a hit. Reyes round third. Stanton on his way to third. And Carlos Lee makes it 3-0.
All of a sudden in this inning, you've seen more knuckleballs that have a little less dance to them and more that have been up in the strike zone. That might have been a fastball out over the plate, and El Caballo just shoots it into right field.
Terry Collins on his way out to the mound, and this might be it for Dickey. Collins is going to talk to his right-hander. You saw Acosta in the bullpen. Dickey, of course, in his offseason climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. And he's talked his manager into leaving him in there at least for a little while longer.
Well, right now he's at 88 pitches, and you talked about his workload. He's thrown a lot of pitches this year.
And here's Brantley now, runners at the corners. I'm just looking at my scorebook. Doesn't it feel good to have written Greenberg's name in your scorebook tonight?
Yeah, right underneath Peterson, pinch hit.
You know, watching the highlights of him get hit, we did that game. It's our voices on that call, and I remember thinking, number one, you hope he's okay. He got up, but you could tell he was injured when he was led off the field. And then following him 2 or 3 weeks after that, hearing that he was having issues, then you start to think, boy, I hope he gets back to the big leagues at some point. And we spent many years in the minors trying to do exactly that. If you took all his minor league games and added them up, he hit 263, but his on-base percentage was 373.
And I looked at the minor league games before he was called up. He was a 285 hitter, which warranted his call up by the Cubs.
You want to stay tuned for Marlins Live. We had Greenberg mic'd up during batting practice, and we will have much of that on Marlins Live after the ball game. Brantley, who homered his last at bat, pulls that one foul. And here's video proof of that home run. It's our Warren Henry drive of the game.
When it's high, let it fly. That's what Rob Brantley did.
Dickey has it, and he flips on over to first in time. Miami gets another run. Adam Greenberg gets his one at bat. Way to go, kid.
Hey, Rich, thank you very much. I'm here with Lindsay, Adam's wife. So as you watch him after 7 years get back to the big leagues and step back into the batter's box, what was going through your mind?
To say the least, I was freaking out, but we were just so happy. We all gathered together as a family holding hands, and, you know, he had a good go at it. He didn't strike out looking. That's awesome. So, you know, I think this opened the door and hopefully bring many more opportunities for him.
What was that moment like? I mean, the crowd was on its feet. They were all cheering him on. Everybody had the one at-bat posters up. What was that energy, that moment like?
Oh, it brought chills to us. I don't know if we were smiling or crying. I mean, it just was a mixed emotions, but it was, you know, one of the happiest times, or the happiest times that a lot of us in the family and our friends have, you know, experienced.
To see this moment come to fruition after everything that he's been through, and you've been there since day one, what was that like for you?
Oh, it's a dream come true. It's a dream come true for Adam. It's a dream come true for, you know, the family, and it's a dream come true for me. So we're so excited, and we're just so happy, so honored and humbling to be here. The Marlins have been fantastic. The organization has been fantastic, and it's just been an outpouring of support by everyone all around. So it's just been a great experience, and we love it.
He's mentioned this a little bit in the press conference, but what do you hope people take away from his story?
Don't give up. You know, persevere. Don't give up. You know, if you do, 7 years ago, you have a dream, you keep fighting for that dream, and, you know, dreams can come true.
Who all do we have here today? I know there's a lot of you.
We have a lot of family, you know, 3 rows of family, a lot of friends, a lot of, actually his former coach from UNC Chapel Hill came in, so we have a lot of people here to support Adam. And he's one of 5 siblings, so we have a lot of family as well. And it's just been fantastic. A lot of college, a lot of old teammates, a lot of ex-teammates, you know, flew in from California, you know, Kansas. So we have a ton of support here.
And a lot of support across the country, really, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So we want to thank everyone who has supported this, you know, and it's been, Adam's probably smiling, you know, the biggest smile on his face right now.
He was. I saw it. Trust me, I don't think it's come off his face.
Okay,
Lindsay,
great.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you, Alice. I'm sure Dusty Baker very much aware of the story and of the at-bat. Baker and Greenberg close. And we see Scott Cousins has come into the ball game, and he takes over for Greenberg, who pinch hit for Peterson. I'm sure Dusty has a smile tonight, not only because he's going to the postseason, but because Greenberg, at least for one at bat, was back in the big leagues.
Yeah, Dusty's Reds in St. Louis right now.
Lucas Duda to right. Stanton in the corner makes the catch. Two outs. Tomorrow is closing day. It's a 4 o'clock start. The Marlins and the Mets will close out the 2012 season. All fans will get a 2013 schedule magnet. Net 10 wireless. Our thanks to you. Post-game party on the plaza. 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com for tickets. We'll try to get back into the emails as well. One of the great tweets after the Greenberg at bat was from Leo, who said, I love the one at bat. I even dropped Jay Bruce tonight from my fantasy league just so I could activate.
Oh, that's nice.
Activate Greenberg, and it was well worth it. Very nice. Tolley bangs it right back to Turner. Jacob Turner's been outstanding. Right now, 7 shutout innings. Greenberg has had his one at bat. Our poll question brought to you by All My Sons Moving and Storage. Who will win the National League Cy Young Award? R.A. Dickey right now leading Gio Gonzalez. Craig Kimbrell with 8% of the vote. Johnny Cueto and Matt Cain have not picked up votes yet. Though Johnny Cueto may pick up a vote because Jason Jackson just stopped by the booth to say hello. And he's a Reds guy, so. Manny Acosta getting ready for the Mets.
Well, one thing the Marlins have done with R.A. Dickey out of this game, they've solidified the fact that he will not win 6 games against the Marlins in 1 year.
And he won't get to 21 wins this year on the season, and this may be loss number 7. And who knows, maybe it will affect the Cy Young voting. This final game here tonight. Solano, Velasquez, and Turner's spot. Turner's thrown 97 pitches, and he's got a gem going, a 2-hit shutout.
Another little sub-story is, we talked about it last night, get a little tougher now for Donovan Solano. 0 for 3 last night, 0 for 2 so far tonight, and he's seen that average get down to 294.
Solano's pop-up is going to reach the seats.
But when it's all said and done, if you had talked to Donovan Solano in spring training and said that you're going to get called up, you're going to end up playing a whole lot, and you're going to hit the 290s, I think he'd have said that'd be just fine.
If he plays tomorrow, he will have played in 93 games in the big leagues in this his rookie season. Solano swings and misses, and he strikes out. So 3 strikeouts for Solano. Acosta gets his first hitter. Gil Velasquez is coming up. Tomorrow night is a Wednesday night showdown brought to you by Kendall Toyota and West Kendall Toyota. 3:30 start for Marlins Live. 4 o'clock first pitch. The Marlins think it will be Chad Godin who will start.
I think we'll see a lot of the bullpen. It's another reason why the outing of Jacob Turner is so important tonight. 7 innings, 2 hits, no runs for the Mets.
Jeremy Hefner goes for the Mets tomorrow afternoon. And Acosta misses up and out. Velasquez an 0 for 2 night. He's made a terrific diving catch defensively. Matt Nathanson, one of our honorary crack staff members, thinks that Velasquez looks like a combination of Anibal Sanchez and Jorge Cantu.
Good call. That's a good call.
Brian wants to know, do you have an estimate of how many games were saved by Marlins Park in terms of rainouts? Well, countless hours were saved in rain delays, and I would guess 2-3 games flat would have been rained out.
Yeah, we had that one series against Arizona, and I'm telling you, it rained all weekend, and I would say at least 2 of those games. The Marlins were always a team that had few rainouts, but many rain delays, and we would have had a few of them this year.
Turner pops it up foul
to the beautiful roof in this ballpark. We are thankful.
Well, the rain delays that you and I have endured in our 8 years together, and you've been here longer than I, so you endured a lot more with Len and Obi and the gang. But being stuck at that football stadium on a night where it's raining, it's pouring, and they're telling you there's a window in a couple hours.
But our heart used to go out to Glenn Geffner over on radio, who had to fill and stay on the air that entire time, which we try to go over and help occasionally.
Turner gets the bunt down. Ike Davis throws to first. Velasquez now at second, and Scott Cousins comes up now.
Nice job. There's Glenn on the left, Dave Van Horn on the right.
What's Geff done with all his rain delay material this year?
You know, he saved it up. He had a couple on the road. That he had to deal with. But nothing at home. And I think we could throw Glenn in as part of our crack staff, because occasionally we'll have to check in with Geff.
Especially if we need a recommendation for a dining spot or a Shake Shack location. Cousins fouls a pitch back. Chris wants to know, are you guys going to watch the presidential debates tomorrow?
That's right. We will be home because it's a 4 o'clock game.
So that's the last thing I'm going to do tomorrow is watch TV.
It's not up there on the list.
Oh, 2 to Cousins. Boy, Boston still beating the Yankees 2-1 in the 6th inning. How sweet would that be for the Orioles?
Baltimore still leading 1-0 on the strength of a Chris Davis home run again.
And that's now in the bottom of the 7th. That's a foul ball just wide of the bag.
That's a great pitching matchup. Miguel Gonzalez for the Orioles and James Shields. Shields has 11 strikeouts in 7 innings, has given up just 2 hits in that 1 home run.
If you've just joined us, yes, Adam Greenberg had his 1 at bat. He struck out against R.A. Dickey in the 6th inning. Cousins is hitting in that spot here in the bottom of the 7th in a 3-0 Miami lead. Cousins reaches out, a liner to left, and it's caught there by Duda. Fish done in the 7th. On to the 8th. Jacob Turner returns with a 3-0 lead. First in singles. 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. He's been outstanding tonight, and the Marlins have supported him defensively. His last 2 starts, the Fish have been sloppy behind him, and as a result, he's picked up a couple of losses. Heath Bell, Mike Dunn in Miami's bullpen. By the way, R.A. Dickey, 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, all earned, no walks. Dickey had 8 strikeouts, so it's hard to say in 6 innings that he didn't have his best stuff.
And no walks. For a knuckleball pitcher, that's always a column you look at. But he made a few mistakes with the knuckleball, and every time he made a mistake with it, it was up.
Andres Torres is up right now.
One of those mistakes to Rob Brantley.
Gorkys Hernandez homering, and Carlos Lee with an RBI single. The number that just stuns me about R.A. Dickey this year is that last year he made 32 starts. He had a good year last year. Even though he was 8-13, his ERA was 3.29. Last year he struck out 134 in 209 innings. This year he goes 233 innings, and he strikes out 230. So his strikeout totals almost were up by 100. That's incredible for a guy going from age 36 to 37. Does that mean, Tommy, that he's able to sustain that as a knuckleball pitcher? You, in your scouting report, noted that there is an option for next year that the Mets hold.
Pretty reasonable, actually, for the Mets.
You got to think that's a no-brainer for the Mets.
One of the hardest things, if you've tracked knuckleball pitchers over the years, is to sustain that consistency. So it will be interesting to see how Dickey throws next year. By the way, we got a tweet from Jocelyn. Remember the couple that was up here on the reverse road trip? and they tweeted that they just got home from the reverse road trip weekend, and it was awesome. So it was nice to have you up in the booth.
They were everywhere. Of course, the fun starts where they got to spend the whole weekend at the Clevelander. Not the Clevelander here in the ballpark, though they did visit there, but the real Clevelander. The iconic South Beach night spot and resort. And they sent a nice photo of us in the booth.
Yeah, it was taken up here in the booth.
10th pitch of the at-bat. Torres gets into that one, center field deep. Hernandez runs it down and makes the catch. The teams are getting lined up, and the wild card games are getting closer, and that's where the postseason starts with the wild card games on October 5th on TBS, and postseason games on Fox and TBS. Major League Baseball today announcing their new television deals, which include both TBS and Fox and MLB Network. In fact, MLB Network will have a couple of postseason games this year. So I guess we need to expand our drop-in before the postseason hits. Jordani Valdespin.
Boy, Jacob Turner just keeps pumping in strikes, quality pitches, sliders, curveballs. Curveball there, just kind of hung out up a little bit. I would imagine Ozzie would love to see him get through this inning. Boy, there's a live fastball. He saw 110 pitches and a nice 91-mile-an-hour fastball.
He has the composure and the poise of a 31-year-old, and he's 21. That breaking ball hung up there, and Valdespin clubs it down the line. Stanton in the corner picks it up, and Valdespin has got a double. Oh, we've been watching the American League East. Baltimore still has that 1-0 lead over the Rays. And I think that game is actually in the bottom of the 7th. The Baltimore 1-0 lead over the Rays has now moved to the top of the 8th. And Boston leads New York 2-1. Later on tonight, on our way home on XM, we'll be listening to Ken Korak and the Oakland A's radio network as the A's and the Rangers play tonight, with Oakland 1 game back in the West. The A's have clinched at the very least the wild card game.
Ken Korak. Sometimes Ray Fosse's with him, and at other times, most of the time, it's Vince Catroni.
That's right. Ken Korak, my second favorite partner in baseball. Velasquez calls for it and makes the catch.
I'm making assumptions that I shouldn't, but thank you.
You didn't think I was going to drop a Ron Fairley in there? But I do love the redhead, that's for sure. Toyota trend in 20 seasons, the Marlins 35-22. In October, 15-12 in the regular season. And 8 of their last 10. Jacob Turner gives up the ball. 114 pitches for it. And a nice hand for a job well done. 3-0 Miami. You'll have more of that on Marlins Live. We had Adam Greenberg mic'd up during batting practice. That was the last swing of batting practice. When he hit the ball out, you could tell he knew that was it. And all his teammates put their arms up out on the field and walked off. So it was his own walk-off shot.
Who can have more fun than major leaguers around a batting cage?
Daniel Murphy facing Mike Dunn. Dunn takes over for Jacob Turner.
Well, brought in because of the left-hander. This will be the only batter. If Dunn is unable to get Murphy, this will be the only guy he faces. David Wright's on deck.
There's Jordani Valdespin. He doubled with 1 out. Now there are 2. And Dunn's breaking ball misses outside. Dream Chaser wants to know, what's the giveaway for tomorrow's game, since it's the last game of the season? It's a schedule magnet, right, for next year.
Got to have that schedule magnet so you can put it right up on the refrigerator. Just remind yourself that the season of 2013 is not that far away.
Line into center field. Gorky's got a good arm. Valdespin gets the stop sign, and Gorky's uncorks a 1-hopper. Holding it first is Murphy. And so the Marlins made the change. Dunn could not get the lefty out. And Ozzy's probably going to go to Bell to face David Wright. Gorky's uncorks one. That's an area, certainly, I think that Mike Dunn going into next year and in spring training will really have to work on, and that's getting lefties out. Lefties have actually hit better against him than righties this year. In comes Bell, 3-0 Miami. And Heath Bell's responsible for David Wright at the plate.
Well, Bell has a big task at hand. He needs to get 1 out, but that 1 out is David Wright who steps in.
David Wright twice has bounced out to the left side, and he's walked.
And that's a good start to get that first strike in with the breaking ball. Good pitch.
Wright fouls it back, and Bell's out in front 0-2. Wright and Bell one-time teammates with the Mets. Smacks one into right field, a base hit. Valdespin scores. Murphy stops at second. I think what you hear from the crowd is kind of pent up from the entire season.
Well, unfortunately, that run is tagged on to the line of Jacob Turner. And the other thing about that is Bell had gotten ahead of David Wright.
Ike Davis. Davis is an 0 for 3 tonight, but he's got the power to knock it out of here. 31 home runs for Davis. His power number is very good this year. He's an RBI shy of 90.
20 of the 31 home runs have come on the road, too. He's been a completely different hitter. Ike Davis at Citi Field this year hit 188 with 11 home runs. Near 260 on the road with the 20 home runs.
Two and one. Killer King. I'm watching the game in the 8th inning, game number 161. Can I get an old school shout out to my favorite closer of all time, Brian Harvey?
Brian Harvey, an original Marlin with that nasty splitter.
2-2. And that one fouled off. John Tuitu all year long has been in the line of fire, and he has yet to get winged. A terrific play by Tuitu to position the camera exactly the right spot to knock that ball down, protect himself.
It's experience, reflexes, footwork.
The camera worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Tuitu not hesitating to put it in harm's way, and I don't blame him. I'm just amazed that one hasn't cracked a lens down there this year. Watch this. Watch John. Look at that. Ball off the camera. This is what it looks like. Whoa. Abandoned ship. (3-2) and it's fouled back to the screen.
That's a great shot.
That's what John will see in his nightmares for the next 6 months until opening day next year. Another 3-2 coming. And it's up. Bell walks him. Bags are loaded. Here comes Hairston, and here comes Randy St. Clair. It's amazing how the emotions can go so differently in each direction for the crowd here. The absolute joy of seeing Adam Greenberg come up to the plate, even striking out, the crowd giving him very warm standing ovation on his way out. They greeted him with sheer joy when he arrived for his at-bat. He did strike out, if you've just joined us, against R.A. Dickey. And now the crowd growing restless. They want to see the Marlins win the ball game. Marlins would like to reward Jacob Turner for a nice night, but the Mets won't go quietly here in the 8th.
Well, it's been a crowd that has run the gamut of emotions this year.
Hairston takes, and it's 1-0. So Ramos is getting ready in the bullpen. There's Emilio Bonifacio.
Talked to Bonnie today.
I did too.
Spirits are up. He's just disappointed.
If he had to, he could play right now. The Marlins didn't want to risk just bringing him back for a few ball games. Not sure if he will play yet in Winter League.
Yeah, he's not sure, he said.
One and two. And Bell trying to get Hairston and finish off what has turned into a long top of the 8th inning. Mets have their first run. They've knocked Turner out of the game. They've gone through Mike Dunn already. And if Bell doesn't get Hairston, well, he might not be long for this game. We had an earlier tweet about closers for next year. Who has a better chance of being the Marlins closer? Steve Cishek, Heath Bell, or Juan Carlos Oviedo? Oviedo had Tommy John surgery, and so I don't think the Marlins or anybody, wherever he ends up, expects him to pitch until at very least mid-season. Ball in the dirt, and it kicks away from Brantley, goes all the way to the screen, and the Mets get another run.
Well, that big breaking ball squibbed away from Brantley, and what that does, not only does it make it a one-run game, now a base hit could possibly put the Mets ahead.
Everybody moves up on a wild pitch. And Hairston sitting on a 3-2. A high chopper is going to be a tough play. Velasquez throw. He is safe. And the Mets have tied the game. Hairston busting it down the line. And Ozzie Guillen is coming out. He's going to the bullpen.
It's a crying shame. I've said it before. Jacob Turner pitched his you-know-what off tonight and gets nothing.
The Mets with 3 runs chase Turner. They go through Dunn, they go through Bell, and in comes Ramos. We're back after this. on. The Mets have runners at the corners. And Lucas Duda is up. Ramos with a fastball for a strike.
A little more of a pressure situation for A.J. Ramos than some of the other outings he's had.
Duda an 0 for 3 night. Davis and Hairston at the corners. And Ramos misses away. Ramos, when he arrived in the big leagues, did it with flair. He struck out the side in his first big league inning. Duda's had some big hits for the Mets this year. I'll tell you, Miguel Montero on that list of Arizona, a guy that should get a lot more attention. One of the better catchers in the big leagues. Ramos thought he had a strike there. And he counts 2-2.
Yeah, the Brewers really missed Lucroy when he was on the disabled list.
Warren Henry Auto Group shows that that pitch was out by a pretty good margin. So it's 2-2. Got another left-handed bat and Josh Tolley on deck. And a fly ball that's going to end up in the seats. David wants to know, Rich, do you consider Tommy an old school guy, but in a good way? Absolutely. Both of those things apply. And Killer King adds, after your last rant, thanks, Tommy, you the man. Yeah, I mean, for Turner, remember in his last 2 starts on the road in New York and Atlanta, the Marlins gave up 5 unearned runs combined in those 2 starts, and he got the loss in both starts. So here tonight, he was spinning a shutout when he leaves with 2 outs in the 8th, and the bullpen comes in, and it's 3-3.
I had such a good taste in my mouth with the crowd, the Adam Greenberg at bat. All of a sudden it's gone. Just like that.
I'm glad that Today Show cleared out of here before you went off. Here's a 3-2. And that one's flipped down the left field line. Velasquez, foul territory, makes the catch. The lead is lost. It's 3-3. And now the Marlins are going to have to get busy with the bats. And Turner's look tells the story. Marlins were going to pin a loss on R.A. Dickey for the first time. And Gorkys Hernandez, a big reason why. His home run got the scoring started in the 4th.
There were some good swings tonight against R.A. Dickey. The Marlins were able to touch him up for a couple of home runs. Gorky's home run, Rob Brantley's home run. They had 7 hits off Dickey, scored 3 runs. Valdespin stays in the game. He got things going with that pinch hit double. Hairston moves over to left field. And the hard-throwing Bobby Parnell comes in to pitch.
So Hernandez, Reyes, and Stanton. So Gorkys digs in. Parnell delivers a breaking ball that misses down low. If you've just joined us, you had R.A. Dickey and Jacob Turner. And, of course, you had Adam Greenberg, who got his 1 at bat in the 6th inning. One of our most loyal emailers, Jim, up in Massachusetts, called it the feel-good strikeout of the season. And it was. It was a terrific moment. Greenberg got his 1 at bat. And the Marlins had a 3-0 lead and were just cruising. Turner got a couple of outs in the top of the 8th, top of this inning. And the Marlins bullpen couldn't finish the inning.
Well, it's easy to say, Rich, if you look back at this season, that last inning was a microcosm of the season.
And Hernandez fouls that one back. So Parnell takes over. Dickey, by the way, went 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs. R.A. Dickey struck out 8, including Greenberg, and he didn't walk anybody, so he had the good stuff going, which makes the Brantley homer and the Gorkys Hernandez homer even more impressive. Turner ends up going 7 2/3. Just 3 hits. 1 run earned, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. And Hernandez lines that one foul. Hernandez, of course, last night had 3 hits, including a triple. He's lined out, homered, and struck out tonight. Game 161. I didn't think of it that way until we had an emailer send it our way. In baseball, you kind of put your head down and you work until they say the season's over. And to get to this point feels odd that there's just 1 day left in what has become your everyday routine, both for fans, whether they listen on radio, watch on television, or come to the games, for players, for broadcasters, for producers, directors. Little tapper to the right side. I know tomorrow we'll have a long list of people to thank. One person we should thank is a new member of the Marlins broadcast department, Evelyn Curry, this year. It was indispensable. And if we were to vote for a Rookie of the Year, I think Evelyn would have my vote.
She would have my vote too. Rookie of the Year. Helped us out in many different ways. Tickets, guests.
All the metrics trend her way. WAR, OPS. There she is. Look at Evelyn. Say hi, Evelyn.
Now she can't believe.
Evelyn, a Miami native and a Ohio State graduate. She's got her Buckeye red going for the ball game tonight. And she's got a great future in this business as well. Reyes takes a breaking ball. Didn't like the call.
I think she's sending us a tweet right now, Rich.
Right backs up, and Reyes is out.
It's a nice little bit of footwork by Ike Davis at first base to kind of sell that play and help David Wright out a little bit.
Be nice if Stanton could sell one over the fence right now.
Boy, that good taste would come back.
You're right. The Marlins, I know this is a microcosm of the season, but for the Marlins on a night like this, the ball club would sure love to walk out of here with a win. The Mets, though, won't go quietly, and Parnell's throwing hard here in the 8th. Ruben wants to know, could Stanton be in the 500-plus home run club?
If he stays at it, stays healthy, no question. But in the interesting thing about Giancarlo, I say if he stays healthy, he wasn't healthy this year and he hit 37.
Drive to right center. It's slicing towards Valdespin, and he makes the running catch. Stanton hit that one on the button. Marlins come up empty in the 8th. This game goes to the 9th, all tied at 3. No way. Come on. El Caballo. Carlos Lee looking for a little love and inspiration. It's been a long year for Joey and Ozzie and anyone in a Marlin uniform. And obviously for any Marlin fan that has followed this ball club this year. Steve Cishek, one of the bright notes to the season. Cishek, with an ERA that's going to come in under 3, has shown that he can close games. And certainly will go into spring training competing for the closer's job. And if he doesn't win it, you've got a great 8th inning guy. It's funny how, and we showed last night the inspirational message that he reads, and after that a couple of thoughts. And they aren't really thoughts that you associate with closers. For most closers, you associate guys breathing fire. I mean, geeked up on Red Bull and adrenaline.
A couple of 5-hour energies.
Yeah. But for Cishek, it's all about calming down rather than getting jacked up.
What a game in Tampa tonight. There's that message.
Stay smooth and easy speed.
James Shields for the Rays went 9 innings, gave up 2 hits, 1 run, the home run to Chris Davis, and struck out 15 and took the loss. The Orioles win that game 1-0. Jim Johnson with his 51st save.
Boy, good for the Orioles. Boston still leads the Yankees 2-1 in the bottom of the 8th. If the Red Sox beat the Yankees, it's 1 game left for the Yankees and Baltimore, and they would be dead even.
And that game in Tampa played in 2 hours and 24 minutes. Cishek will be tested. First couple of hitters he'll face here, actually the first 3 hitters, will all be hitting left-handed.
Josh Thole, the first of which. And he takes strike 3 call. Rob Drake rings him up. Down goes Thole. And up comes Andres Torres.
Just a good fastball in a good spot. Thole had a good eye, though. Was off the plate, but he got the call.
Liner into center. Gorkys Hernandez full flight, and he can't get it. Off the tip of his glove. Gorkys bounces off the wall. Torres is roaring to third, and he's in there with a triple. Boy, if Gorkys Hernandez can't catch it, not many can.
Yeah, this ball really took off. Was hit well by Andres Torres. Gorky's got a decent jump, good move, reached up. It just went off his glove, and he gets kind of hung up in that little alcove out there. And with the speed of Torres, once it got into that area, he was at third base.
Now the infield comes in. Valdespin is up. Squeeze certainly an issue. Valdespin takes a hack and fouls it off. How about that? How about that?
Yeah, that deserves a hug.
How about that? He's got the one at bat t-shirt. He's got the glove.
Hey, getting high fives from everybody.
Deservedly so. Cishek steps off. Well, you got speed at third in Torres. You got Valdespin at the plate.
It was Valdespin who got things going in the 8th inning with a 1-out pinch hit double.
Here's the play by that young fan. Look at that tough backhand, and he holds on over the railing. That's as good a play as you'll see a young fan with a glove.
That's not easy. Yeah, that's not easy.
Here's the 0-2. And he struck him out. Big strikeout for Cishek.
Now he gets the right-handed bat of Tejada.
There's Torres at third base. A tough assignment, too, for Rob Brantley. Anything that gets by him, Torres will be dashing towards the plate. Tejada fouls it off. Nationals have a 3-2 lead over the Phils. The Reds are trailing Houston 2-0. Those two teams, excuse me, here's the fastball that's chopped down the third baseline foul. The Reds are actually tied with the Cardinals 1-1. It's the Cubs who are trailing Houston 2-0 in the bottom of the 6th. Cincinnati and the Nationals with identical records right now as they jockey for home field advantage through the postseason. Giants and Dodgers later on tonight. Oakland and Texas later on tonight. Check swing. No swing. And it's 1-2 to Ruben Tejada. Let's see. Nope.
I didn't think so either, but you do see that called every once in a while.
Cardinals 1-1 with the Reds. That's in the 6th. Remember, St. Louis, a 2-game lead in the wild card against the Dodgers. Dodgers need the Cardinals to lose to, and the Dodgers need to beat the Giants again tonight and tomorrow. That one, wow. That looked like a pitch around the plate, and it was.
It caught it a little bit.
As it is, it's 2-2, and Cishek has made two pretty good pitches to Tejada. He certainly would like to get Tejada and not have to face Daniel Murphy. And he gets him. With a breaking ball, Tejada goes after it. Cishek leaves Torres at third, and the Marlins will try to walk out of here with a win. A 3-3 game going to the bottom of the 9th. Rethink Possible, and by Checkers. Feast on. Downtown Miami tonight. 3-3 ball game tonight in Marlins Park. On email and Twitter Tuesday, Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton, Frank Fort, Craig Minervini, Allison Williams, the social media Contessa here tonight. Bobby Parnell gets Carlos Lee, Rob Brantley, and Donovan Solano. Chris tweets, what are the Marlins planning to do with Stanton and El Caballo in the offseason?
Well, Stanton's going to be back. They're going to sign Giancarlo. He's in a position where you don't have to lock him in. I mean, it's something that teams do, and it's something I'm sure they've talked about.
The Brewers were in a similar spot with Prince Fielder. Tried to work out a deal at the end of Fielder's contract. They got a lot of home runs and production out of him. Certainly the fans are hopeful the Marlins can get a long-term deal done there. With El Caballo, boy, it's really tough because right now the plans are to have Logan Morrison at first base. And that's the only place that Carlos Lee can play right now. As age has caught up to him, his mobility has lessened. I think an American League team might be a good spot for Carlos Lee. In fact, his old team is headed to the American League. Houston. Brantley is thrown out. That would make the guy with the big handlebar mustache, the president of El Caballo Nation, quite happy.
I keep forgetting that. It's going to be odd next year to see the Houston Astros in the American League. And with interleague play, we do not see them next year.
Here is Solano. He's the only thing standing between extra innings and the ninth. Parnell with a breaking ball up there. Solano's had a tough night tonight. He struck out 3 times. We talked about him trying to hit 300 on the season, and that doesn't look like it's going to happen. Solano 0 for 3 last night, 0 for 3 tonight. His average has dipped to 293.
Bobby Parnell doing what he does best. Live fastballs. That last one, 99.
'98, elevated. We've had a lot of questions and tweets about David Wright tonight. And since we're going to extra innings, Tommy, and David Wright is coming up, we'll answer those questions.
All right.
Hey, extra innings, game 161, 3-3 ball game. Hang with him. Not magically, but frustratingly, in the 8th. And Ryan Webb will work the 10th. Daniel Murphy, David Wright, and Ike Davis. So, Tommy Hutton, it's the 10th. Let's just open up the email bag and let them all
let it fly.
Fall out and fly out. Reds fan wants to know, what did you think about Adam Greenberg's swings tonight?
They were fine. I mean, you see guys who've been playing for 10 years have poor swings against a knuckleball pitcher. He had a good attack, good aggressive swings. He took the first strike, wanted to kind of get a little feel up there, and then saw 2 really good knuckleballs.
Here's how you can get to us. Go to foxsportsflorida.com. Go to the Marlins page. Click on Game Connect. And then go to Ask the Broadcast. We've got to get that easier next year. That's my one. You can tweet us at FS Marlins, but many of you don't tweet, and you've got email accounts. We got to make it easier instead of jumping through 4 hoops to get to the booth. Lee steps on the bag. We'll work on that in spring training, Tommy, while we're running polls and doing our
up at Roger Dean,
announcing off flat ground.
Work done, yeah.
All right, here's David Wright, and now's a chance where we can unleash all the David Wright joins the Marlins questions. A lot of fans want to know, what are the chances that David Wright joins Jose Reyes next year or the year after? Marlins obviously in the market for a third baseman. Wright has another year on his contract.
First of all, the Mets aren't just going to give him away. David Wright's 29.
And he's going to be looking for a long-term contract, maybe his last contract. He's hurt the Marlins in 141 games. He's had a nice season's worth.
That pretty much puts him on that all-time Marlins killer team. Of course, he has to bump off Chipper Jones at third base.
I think Wright's numbers are better than Chipper Jones against the Marlins. When you look at batting average and the percentage of games, Chipper has played in more games, but I think Wright's numbers hold up.
Yeah, what was Chipper? Right around 340 home runs, but a lot more games.
Over 200.
Yeah.
Greg in Miami. Tommy, how do you envision the starting rotation for next year? Have you heard rumors of possibly moving JJ in a deal with Heath Bell? El Caballo has some difficulties, but ends up getting the ball and getting it to first. Not the prettiest of plays, but you know what? It's a 3-1 in the books.
Not an easy play because it's squibbed off the end of the bat. A ball like that has a lot of spin. Carlos Lee stays with it, and give Webb credit for getting over there, giving him the target. A little tumble after the barehand pick. Keeps his balance, picks up the target, and there's the tumble.
In Foxmo, El Caballo with the cat-like reflexes. He's like a cat, Tommy. You drop a cat and he always lands on his feet. He's a big cat. He's not the big cat. That would be Andres Galarraga.
Andres Galarraga, who was a Gold Glove first baseman.
Can you imagine when he pulls into the ranch in the offseason? His horse had had a great summer, and all of a sudden El Caballo shows up, and it's like, uh-oh, back to work. with the cattle ranches in Texas and back home in Panama. Outside corner. Raul Ibanez has just tied the game against the Red Sox. It's 3-3. 19th on the season for a Miami guy.
Bottom of the 9th inning, too.
And so the Red Sox, Andrew Bailey can't hold the lead. And that's a, boy, if the Yankees win that ball game, that'll be a real kick in the teeth for the Orioles. Ike Davis gets into that ball, drives it in the gap right center. Hernandez plays it off the wall. And Ike Davis has got himself a 2-out double.
Tell you what, to show you how well Ike Davis hit that ball, the outfield was playing no doubles. They were a few steps deeper than normal to try to cut the ball off before it got through the gap. And he was able to get that one through the gap. Two-seamer down out over the plate and driven well by Davis. You see the outfield deep, but even for Gorkys to get over there, he couldn't cut it off. Davis is going to be lifted for a pinch runner.
Fred Lewis. And Scott Hairston is up right now. Ryan Webb with 2 outs. All right, the emailer's question, Tommy, rotation for next year. I have not heard any rumors about Josh Johnson being in any type of trade package.
I think you look at it, unless somebody's traded, but you look at it with Josh Johnson and Mark Burley and Ricky Nolasco, and then you really love the way Jacob Turner has pitched. Nathan Eovaldi will get an opportunity, certainly. Wade LeBlanc, you could have another left-hander in the rotation.
And you're about a year away from Jose Fernandez arriving in the big leagues.
Maybe a half year.
If
he has a strong first half in Double-A, maybe a half year.
There's a good chance. You're right. High chopper, and Hairston, who has already beaten out one of those, beats out another.
That's exactly what he did in the 8th inning off Heath Bell. He has himself a 4-hit night, and the last 2 have been infield choppers. Gil Velasquez does everything. Bare hands, quick throw, but just not in time.
Of course, Hairston's infield hit in the 8th was against Heath Bell, and that drove in the final run of that 3-run 8th. Randy St. Clair out to the mound. Mike Baxter getting set to pinch hit. There are email questions about game strategy, about players, about next year, and then every now and then you get one that you have to read. Harris wants to know, Tommy, what's your favorite Kiss song?
Well, it's got to be their all-time hit. Rock and roll and party all night long, right?
All right.
Never was a huge Kiss fan, but they're still going strong.
Yes, they are. There's even mini Kiss. Have you seen those guys? The little Kiss band, all dressed up. Baxter's had a terrific year as a pinch hitter. Even in Milwaukee, he's delivered. Breaking ball down low. As a pinch hitter this season, he's .458. That's the third highest pinch hit average in team history. And only Craig would know the guy that holds the Mets record for best pinch hitting average in a season. Is Craig around? Has he arrived out on the set in center field?
I'm here.
All right.
Is the choice of two guys that I would have to go with?
1976 is when
it has to be Le Grand Orange?
No.
It's Ed Kranepool.
No.
Really?
Bruce is his first name.
Wait.
And the last name.
What's to start with?
B.
Oh, yes. What's his name?
Bruce Beauclair. Beauclair.
Beauclair, yeah. I knew it was a Canadian
He
name.
wasn't there long. Yeah.
Wow. I did not know that he was the best. Wow.
I did not know either. I would have gone with your Rusty Staub to begin with. Baxter takes 4 wide ones and ends up at first. And so Webb now facing Josh Thole, and for Ozzie Guillen, this season can't end soon enough, having watched what he's watched here tonight.
I got a good tweet from Dave in Juno Beach. Does the manager have to make the pitching change, or can another coach make the change? No, the manager doesn't have to make the change.
And there are times where a pitching coach will make a change. Thole now, and he takes in. We even have people wanting to know how the Hurricanes are going to do in Chicago against Notre Dame this Saturday. Kathleen from North Florida wanting to know. Well, if their offense, if the defense can play as well as the offense, then they got a shot. It's great to see that old rivalry renewed. Here's the 1-1. Thole doesn't like it. He and Rob Drake discuss it. Lewis at third. Hairston at second. Baxter. And that's why Thole was upset. You see how far the pitch missed by. Hey, it's game 161 for the umpires, too.
Tolley's had a couple of those called on him tonight.
David wants to know. First, he says, congrats on another full season. Are you guys excited to see the new Astros logo and colors? Do you know what it will look like? I have not seen the new logo leaked like the Marlins logo, or parts of it were leaked.
I'm sure it will be, though. Somebody usually gets a hold of that stuff.
From the logo police. Swing and a miss and a breaking ball, and Webb leaves him loaded in the top of the 10th. 3-3 still. Jordani Valdespin is getting the tour of Marlins Park. He pinch ran, he played right, and now he moves into second. Elvin Ramirez makes his second appearance of this series. Baxter, is that you out in right field?
I think it is.
Mike Baxter. Tommy, I want to see you in that outfit next year.
Yeah, one thing, the energy team never loses their energy.
Or the fans. Sort of like a Sergeant Pepper meets cheerleader.
Could go, I may come down trick or treat in that outfit. Wouldn't that blow you away?
I could just see the doorbell ring, and there's Tommy, Frank, Craig, and Allison dressed as the energy team. Now that would be fun. That would be great. That would blow my mind too.
Make sure you have candy corn.
Book me. I am getting my outfit. Although they are a little snug, those outfits. So I'll have to see if I don't know if they'll fit.
Do you think they have them in your size?
Not sure. Thank you, Allison. I was doing the punchline, not you.
We see the social media Contessa has a little edge to her in extra innings, man.
She was friendly in the 8th inning, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but this is game 161 right now.
Game 161, bottom of the 10th. It comes out, you know.
Gil Velasquez up. Guy's been a good year for us here in the booth. I know it's been a struggle on the field, and we hope that throughout the year we've entertained and informed. The 0-2. Velasquez swings and misses, and Ramirez has a strikeout, the first man that he faces.
And we have a tweet a little bit to that effect. Oh, I lost it here. Oh, from Eric. Watching from Baltimore. Will you guys be back next year? Thanks for a great year. And we're happy to say we think we will be.
No manager has come to the booth and asked for our headsets yet, as Terry Collins just did.
Or as we found out, a coach could do that too.
Yes, it doesn't have to be a manager. Elvin Ramirez, we hardly knew ye.
But we'll soon meet Justin Hampson.
Looked like they were headed to a 3-0 win. And we remind you that on Marlins Live, presented by Checkers, Adam Greenberg mic'd up for batting practice. That's after the game. So as the note says, stay tuned. Justin Hampson in for the Mets. Greg Dobbs at the plate. Then you got Scott Cousins, so it's a good time to bring in the lefty.
You know, you got a couple of lefties too. Scott Cousins on deck.
Email from Betsy, along with Ray, watching the game. Also working on the iPad. Swing and a miss. Just a tip of the cap for the crack staff and all their hard work this year. Tomorrow we'll have our season-ending rollout with a few hijinks in there.
This is an interesting with Chad Godin because he was thought to be the starting pitcher for tomorrow's game.
You know why? Maybe the Marlins and the Mets would just play tomorrow's game.
Just play it tonight,
right?
Like a doubleheader, and let everybody play. Get out of here about 3 a.m.
Let Greenberg hit again.
Yeah, let Adam hit again.
Dobbs takes a breaking ball. Hampson misses up high. A lot of questions about what we do in the off season. Let me find the one that had the list of what everyone is going to be doing, because they want to know what you're doing in the offseason, Tommy Hutton. Dobbs with a little flare down the left field line, and it's going to drop foul. The emailer or tweeter knows that Allison's doing some college football right now, and that Craig,
as you will be doing, you'll get some ACC action when the NHL starts up.
Craig and
Frank will be busy. Allison as well.
So they wanted to know, Tommy, if you could do an off-season sport as an announcer, which sport would it be?
Well, I wouldn't be that adept at bowling, golf. I think I could do golf.
How's your whisper?
You have to speak at a low tone. I couldn't get the edge, though.
You could. No, you
I wouldn't be good on golf.
Could just hear you go on a rant when somebody shanked one, a Ryder Cup collapse, and Tommy Hutton launches into a diatribe of.
Bring a new dynamic.
It would. It actually might drive ratings. All right, here's Austin Kearns.
Thankfully, I can say I'm at the point in my career where I can just kind of relax and watch an occasional ACC game that you're doing.
Saturday, thank you. Saturday, the surprising Duke Blue Devils in Virginia. That's
take a couple of trips.
The worst part is I'll be doing a football game on a Saturday, and I'll get a tweet or a text from Tommy with a shot of him in the pool. The square grouper.
Up with the square grouper, yeah.
And then jealousy sets in. Embiid has a tweet. Maybe it's too late to get this one in. Actually, no. Plenty of time, because here comes Terry Collins.
Terry Collins going all out in this one.
All right, so I'm going to ask you this before we go to the break. Rich and Tommy, what are your favorite moments from this season? Answer after John Roush comes in and gets warmed up. Fist bump, chest bump. Here comes the big man. 3-3 in the 10th. that was against the Mets, and that was a big moment.
And that was a good taste.
Well, the Marlins now facing John Roush. Gorkys Hernandez, who was homered. That homer came off of R.A. Dickey. But this had a real different storyline through the first 8 innings. It was Jacob Turner out pitching the Cy Young Award candidate R.A. Dickey. The Marlins getting a home run from Gorkys Hernandez and from Rob Brantley against Dickey, scoring 3 runs against Dickey. On the verge of beating Dickey for the first time in 2 years.
R.A. Dickey came into the game tonight 8-0 in the last 2 years against the Marlins.
But as you can see from the scoreboard, it was not to be. Dickey's still out there. He will finish the season at 20-6. Kearns is running. Toley's throw, and Austin Kearns with a stolen base. Sore back and all, Kearns got a good jump.
Austin Kearns picks up his 2nd stolen base. Got a great jump. I'm sure Roush wasn't thinking at all. They may have called him out had the ball not been dropped. Valdespin with the tag right there. And I think Joe West was going to call him out until he saw the ball come out of Valdespin's glove.
I'm going stolen base. Don't give me one of those caught stealing and errors, though.
No, that's stolen base.
All right. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball. John Roush disposes of Gorkys Hernandez. On to the 11th. Back to the emails and the tweets, I promise, when we return. Staying up late. There you go, 3-3. The Clevelander pool is happening out there. There is an after party for the One at Bat group that's here, and they actually have a One at Bat themed drink, and all the proceeds from that drink will go to the charity donation that Adam Greenberg and the One at Bat folks are making after the ball game. So Chad Godin coming into the ballgame means he's probably not starting tomorrow night unless he pitches an inning and Ozzie figures he can get a couple innings out of him to start the ballgame.
Yeah, that's the other unique thing about this situation here. Into extra innings, all the pitchers that have been used with Godin having to come in and pitch here.
And the only other guy the Marlins could turn to as a bona fide starter would be Mark Burley, but we've been told that Burley would not start tomorrow. Tom Kohler could throw a couple innings. I mean, I think what you're looking at, especially after tonight, is a piece it together, everybody chip in for an inning or two.
And we've seen a few of those this year anyway.
Brian Peterson.
He's ready.
Could give you another inning. Petey's ERA, career ERA, 0.00. Torres is up. And he fouls it back to the screen. All right, let's get back into the tweets and the emails. Eric says, I agree. Going to commercial, I said the Happy Mother's Day walk-off. Will pop up. Reyes makes the catch. Killer King is a female viewer wanting to know, how does she tell her boyfriend that the only reason she watches Marlins game is to catch a glimpse of Stanton's backside? I think you got to come clean. You got to come right out and say it.
What was the question?
Just keep your head down.
I'm losing focus.
I know you are. You don't want to answer that one.
Aaron wants to know if Aaron wants to know if I'm a great golfer. No, I'm not.
No, his other question is, why don't you become a baseball manager?
Why don't you become a baseball? Because I couldn't sit up here and have fun with Rich Waltz.
Valdespin takes up. Brett, I'm a Korean fish fan. Do you remember Hee-Sop Choi?
Absolutely. He had that great month of April. I think he hit 10 home runs in the month of April for Jack McKeon. I know Jack tunes in on us once in a while up in North Carolina.
Alex has this, and maybe it was a Brian Peterson shot in the dugout. Remember, the Marlins won the second to last game last year on a walk-off. That was the Javi Vasquez game, wasn't it? And didn't Petey hit the walk-off in the rain?
Petey hit the home run, yeah.
To left, that's Dobbs out there. And he makes the catch. Valdespin is out. 2 outs. Mark wants to know predictions for the World Series.
That's a good question, because we always enjoy watching the postseason. I still will, because I've liked, we've talked about the Washington Nationals. We see the Nationals, of course, a lot. Certainly like their chances. It's just amazing when you start watching postseason games. There's always one team, as St. Louis did last year, that just gets on a roll and is hard to stop. Carlos Zambrano can pitch a little bit tomorrow, too.
That's a good call. Tejada flies out to center. Bottom of the 11th. 3-3.
their funk going.
Oh, he's working the pole there, Tommy. Got the hand going. I would go with the Josh Johnson jersey.
Colin McHugh is the next one out of the bullpen for the Mets.
And he will get Jose Reyes, Giancarlo Stanton, and Carlos Lee. Ronnie Cedeno, welcome aboard. As I have no idea where anybody is hitting at this point.
They have made a few changes.
Guys are just coming in and out of the game at breakneck speed.
Time to stop the nonsense and score a run right here.
Are you insinuating that Reyes lines it deep? Torres can't get it to the wall. Reyes, high gear, headed for third, and he's going to get there. The Mets had a play, but for some reason, Valdespin held the ball. That was not a done deal as far as a triple goes, because Torres got it in quickly, and Valdespin turned like he thought he had no shot.
I thought they had a shot all the way. Boy, what a nice swing by Jose Reyes. Third hit of the night, 12th triple of the year over the head of Torres. Good relay. Valdespin gets it, but then gives a pump fake when he actually had a play. It looked like at third base. So the Marlins will take that. The only problem, they'll probably walk the bases loaded. So Stanton won't get to swing the bat. Neither will Carlos Lee.
So if it gets that far with Lee and Stanton aboard, you got Rob Brantley and Donovan Solano. Colin McHugh greeted with a leadoff triple. Terry Collins said, let's move him over as well.
You know, I found myself, Rich, on that ball that Reyes hit. The inner Hawk Harrelson was coming out of me, and I was thinking, stretch, stretch.
You saw Terry Collins smiling, and that smile and the exchange wasn't with his catcher, it was with Carlos Lee.
Carlos knows the drill. And now it's going to be up to the rookie, Rob Brantley. And to be quite honest, I have a good feeling with Rob Brantley coming up here.
One more wide one. And here comes Brantley. And here comes Dan Warthen, the pitching coach for the Mets, with some instructions for young Colin McHugh.
Colin McHugh has spent time this year in AA and AAA as a starting pitcher. So getting his first taste of Major League action.
Tommy has a good feeling on this game. However, this question we have to red flag. Elliot wants to know, do either of you guys ever make bets on games? No.
You know, it's amazing when you are around baseball as much as we are. I can't imagine making a bet on a game. I would have. It's so unpredictable.
It didn't work out so well for Pete Rose. Infield's in. Brantley's up. Slow breaking ball misses down low.
All right, now he's probably going to get a little something hard after McHugh tried to drop that curveball in. Another curveball.
He gets himself a strike. Solano and then Velasquez. Marlins trying to walk off with a win. Change up. Brantley's out in front, and it's 1-2. And McHugh certainly thinking if he can get a strikeout here, then he sets up a chance for a ground ball to get him out of the inning.
McHugh's certainly giving you an idea of the type of pitcher he is. 2 curveballs and a changeup.
1-2. And he got him. So Brantley strikes out.
Another changeup. Pretty good arm action with that changeup. So he's thrown 4 pitches. He's yet to throw a fastball. Tough night for Donovan Solano. 4 strikeouts. And you know he would love to end it here.
Infield still in. And McHugh misses away. Outfield's in as well. You've got dazzling speed at third with Reyes, so a fly ball medium depth would end the game. Solano, a ground ball in the center field. Ball game. Marlins win it. Solano gets his hit. And the Fish beat the Mets. And there's Adam Greenberg out there in the pile. That's going to feel good for him as well. The Marlins outlast the Mets in 11. Solano gets the game winner, an RBI single with Reyes scoring. He set it up with the leadoff triple. And a long night with a lot of storylines comes to an end. Adam Greenberg gets his one at bat. Jacob Turner turned in a dazzling night. The Marlins bullpen buckled, but the Fish came back and win it in the 11th.
Well, a feel-good story tonight, and at least we were able to see a feel-good ending. Look at Ozzie giving the lineup card to Adam Greenberg. What a wonderful night for the 31-year-old. And the fans still acknowledging him.
And so the night over for the Marlins, the night over for Adam Greenberg, although the party is headed out to the Clevelander, and that's a charity benefit as well. And so terrific stuff here tonight for the Fish, who win it 4-3. First, let's go to Allison with Donovan Solano, who had the game winner.
Hey, thank you, Rich. Donovan, first walk-off at the big league level. How did it feel to be able to deliver for your team?
Oh, it's amazing, you know. I'm trying to do not too much, so I'm be happy right now. Can help the team for one more W, so I feel great.
Especially on a night like this for you, 0 for 4 before that at bat, 4 strikeouts. What? How redeeming was it to be able to get that hit?
You know what? When something happens, it's happened already. So I need to more focus in the present. So I don't think tomorrow what happened. So I need to get or select a good pitch and try to do the best I can.
What did he give you? What did you see?
I see the fastball. I know he pitched to roll, a curveball, something slow. So he pitched me a quarter or something, but I stayed back and just reaction.
So much going on tonight, one of which was, of course, Adam Greenberg getting to make it back to the big leagues. For this team, what was it like to have him around and see what he was going through and getting to see him take his first AB in 7 years?
You know, it's amazing what happened. I didn't know what happened about him before, so I feel grateful for him. You know, it's like first at bat, the another at bat is not count, so it's a special moment for him.
Thank you, Donovan.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Guys.
All right, Allison, thank you very much. Don't go anywhere because a very special edition of Marlins Live. Craig Minervini will talk with Adam Greenberg. We had Adam Greenberg mic'd up during batting practice as well. We'll bring you that on Marlins Live tonight as the Fish walk-off winners against the Mets 4-3, the final.